Hello there, you're watching Dansky, the place to be to develop your creative skills. In this tutorial, we're going to create, well, something that I can only really describe as an alien style aesthetic, all in Photoshop. Rightio, so we're now in Photoshop and you can see that I've opened up an image of a subject on screen, and you can do this with any photo of a person or anything really, your dog if you want or your cat, and we're going to alienize them. I don't even know if that's a word, but alienize, there we go, it's officially now a word. So the first thing we're going to do is just zoom in and create a new layer from the bottom of the layers panel. Now, depending on the image that you're using, it may have been previously retouched and had the colors adjusted, blah, 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 blah. So if you just go and grab black from the bottom, this may work, it may not. So what I'd recommend is just using the color picker and sampling the darkest area in your image. So for example, if your image has a matte effect applied to it, it won't actually be pure black like in the bottom left corner. So you can see if I sample the darkest part of the hair here, okay, this one happens to be black, so that's good. If I go over here and sample a very dark but not quite black, you can see that it is ever so slightly off black. So essentially all I would say is just, instead of just using black, sample the darkest part of your image and then go with that as your color for this next bit. Just so when you work on the eyes, the color blends in with the rest of your image and it doesn't stand out. So we've got our color. Let's select the brush tool and we've got one of Photoshop's soft round pressure size brushes. And we're just going to zoom in nice and close. And then just start brushing over the existing eye, taking care not to go over the highlight. So the highlight in the eye is something that we will use, because if we go over that, it will just look, it will look fake. It won't look like, because there'll be no reflection coming off of the eye and it will just look quite ridiculous. So to get the best result here, I would recommend zooming in really, really close and using a nice small brush just to go around those edges and really take your time with it. And if you do make a mistake, just go to edit and step backwards. Just making sure that it's nice and smooth all the way around the bottom of the eye. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time on this one here. And then of course you can decrease and increase the size of the brush quickly using the left and right square brackets on your keyboard. So that's a really, really quick way just to adjust the brush size. So we can use a larger brush for this part of the eye here, and then a smaller brush for just going around the edge. So I'm going to try and do this nice and quickly, but please, when you do yours, please take a little bit longer, give it a bit of love and a bit of care, and the end result will be much better. Okay, so we've done that with a really high level of zoom in. So now we can right click on this layer and go to blending options, and from the main blending options screen we have the blend if section at the bottom. And if we hold down the Alt key on our keyboard and hover over the left half of this slider, we can left click, and with Alt held, it will allow us to separate this slider away. Now all we're doing here is turning this from a solid, almost black color and just bringing back in a little bit of detail. So a little bit of detail around here and a little bit here as well. So if I turn this on and off, you can see the difference. So we've just gone from pure black to bringing back in some of that detail. So we'll create a new layer and we'll do the same over here, and I'll try and do this nice and quickly. Again, making sure not to go over that highlight. And you could even keep this other part of the highlight in as well. It's entirely up to you. And we're just going round the corner of the eye here, just trying to make it as smooth as possible. And if you're on CC 2018, you can of course adjust the smoothing up here, which makes going along these edges considerably easier. There we go. So I'll just try and do this nice and quick. And if you are using a Wacom Intuos Pro, that's fantastic. If you're not, I would definitely recommend them. That's what I'm using at the moment. The one I'm using is a Wacom Intuos Pro. It's a small one. It's linked in the description. It's incredible for retouching like this. I would definitely recommend at least checking it out. Now, what we can do is we can right click this layer and we can do the whole blending options thing again, or we could just right click our first layer that we've already done and go copy layer style and just select layer 2, right click and select paste layer style. So it takes those blending options that we use to bring out some of the detail in the eye and it can apply it to this as well. Didn't really bring much in there, so we can just double click on that symbol on the right. Maybe we need to go in and adjust this one a little bit more. So it just brings back some of the detail, and how much detail you want to bring in or not is entirely up to you. But there we go. We've got the eyes. The eyes are alienized, and yeah, that's cool. So we'll just name these, call them right and left. Not her right and left, my right and left, because, well, it's just easier for me. And what we're going to do now is hold Shift and select everything, and then right click and select Convert to Smart Object. And then we can call this Alienize. And what we can do now is, this is one layer, it's a smart object. We can double click on the thumbnail and it opens up a separate .psb document. Everything is still here, so we can go and edit these, we can make adjustments, whatever we need to. And when we're happy, we just click on the X and click save, and it will apply those changes to our main document and update this smart object. But the reason that I did this is because with this now as a smart object, we can go to Filter, Liquify, and we can start to adjust the shape of the face. But any changes we do make will be listed as a Liquify effect under our smart object, and we can delete it, we can edit it, we have a whole bunch of flexibility. So now I'm in the Liquify window and I've got the top one at the top, which is warp, and I'm going to use the left and right square brackets or the slider here to adjust the brush size. And we're going to go nice and big and just get that little crosshair in the center hovering over the side of the cheek and just start to nudge this in. Now, of course, we don't want to do that because that just looks ridiculous. Well, you might want to do that. I think it looks ridiculous, but you know, each to their own. It depends what you're going for. I find that the best way to use this tool is to do it very subtly and steadily. And just adjust the brush size if you want. So if you'd like to kind of make the lower part of the jaw here and the cheeks kind of bend in a little bit more, then you can use that slightly smaller brush to achieve that. And we'll just bring this up, so really subtly, and we can preview the changes that we've made like that. And you can see this is listed as a Liquify smart filter, so we can turn this on and off, so we have a great deal of flexibility, or we can just drag that smart filter to the trash icon down here if we want to get rid of it. And remember, we can double click on the thumbnail. We've still got everything here, it's all still editable. It just means that we now have the flexibility with the Liquify smart filter if we do want to adjust anything else in our image. And there we go. That's how to create an alien style aesthetic all in Photoshop. As always, guys, please feel free to leave any questions or comments down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you next time.